Oh, hey. Didn't see you there. Oh, what am I gonna do on one of the nicest days of the year so far? I was just gonna sit on the couch and maybe read a little. Yeah. Yeah, it's really nice out there. Teehee. Teehee. Okay, hold on, let me get you set up here. You heard me right, people. It is beautiful outside and I'm gonna read. I will be reading outside. I will go outside as well. But we have some important matters to discuss and to take care of this week. It's also Tuesday. Sometimes weeks start on Tuesdays, okay? Sometimes weeks start on Tuesdays. Regardless, I have found myself reading with a bit of a theme. And so we're gonna tackle that theme head on this week. I just started revisiting a classic paranormal romance, Hush Hush by Becca Fitzpatrick. If you know, you know. I do feel a little bit vulnerable even telling you that I have ever read this because it tells you so much about me. So anyway, the theme, as is so beautifully displayed on this cover, boys with wings. I'm already a good chunk of the way through this book, but I want to finish it like today if possible. And then I've been buddy reading with a friend. We're actually buddy reading this as well. And next on the list is the one and only ACOTAR. Whoa, whoa, what? And those are some boys with wings. And from what I've heard, some pretty big ones. But we'll be the judge of that later, I guess. I'm a little scared. On top of that, we also have on the list the sequel to The Serpent and the Wings of Night. Not sure if that's actually what the title is, but it's by Carissa Broadbent, and I loved the first book, and I never read the second book, and I wanna actually feel like I've completed that duology. So that's on the list for this week as well. We've got a lot of boys and a lot of wings to catch up with. So let's start reading. The first time I read Hush Hush, I was in 6th grade. I was like 12, maybe 13 years old. And I was like, this is the peak of literature. And every single person that knows me needs to read this book too. And it is so funny rereading it now after so many years because I can totally see how it formed my reading taste now. And I love it, don't get me wrong, but how messy it is. Some of it just doesn't really make a lot of sense, and I would probably not recommend this to anyone. I definitely wouldn't recommend it to a child the age that I was when I first read it, because it reads like the main characters are college age students, even though they're not, and they should not be doing these things, and I should not have read this book. But it also makes me so nostalgic for that time because I literally wrote a book report about Hush Hush for school in 6th grade. And it's just wild to revisit that after so long. Oh my God. Oh God. Yeah. Hey. I am wearing the same sweatshirt as yesterday, but we don't need to talk about that because there's something else we do need to talk about. I'm afraid that I've lied to you guys just a little bit, and it does have to do with what's on that wall over there. So for those of you that came here wondering about a Wicked King recap video update, here it is. It's coming soon, and the lie doesn't really have to do with that. I made a community post saying, hey guys, Wicked King's coming soon, but first, Dune video, because Dune is the only thing that I think about still, Everybody moved on, I'm still here. That Dune video, however, is taking a little longer than I thought. This is a recurring issue that I've been having, especially with the crafting videos, that I'm working on. I think it's a moment of opportunity for personal growth within me. I don't know why I'm talking like this either. It's like, I'm nervous, you know? Guys, you make me nervous. So the schedule is gonna be this video. We're gonna have a little vloggy, and I'm so sorry for lying to you. I'm so sorry. And then we're gonna have the Wicked King video, and then we're gonna have Dune. Maybe. It might be vlog Dune, Wicked King. But in the next few weeks, the Wicked King recap will be out. All I have to do is set up the wall and film, and I have it scheduled. So it is happening. Don't murder me, please. Hearts in the chat. Hearts in the chat for the Wicked King. In other news, I am going to finish Hush Hush tonight because it's time. You know, do you ever have that when it's like, okay, it's time for me to finish this book? Doesn't matter how far I am into it or how long I've been reading it. Like, it's different depending on the book, but you get to that point where it's like, okay, it's time to finish that book. We're sitting down and we're doing it tonight. And that's where I'm at with Hush Hush. So I'm really excited because I'm enjoying cringing at my past self and wondering, actually no longer having to wonder what happened to her. Like, that books like Hush Hush, that's why I am who I am and why it's like a little bit fucked up. Let's finish that book. Okay, my Kindle's dead, but I did end up finishing Hush Hush last night, except I stayed up too late reading and like didn't really comprehend what I was seeing. So this morning I reread it. I reread the end and hold on. All I could think about while I was reading this book was how many people I recommended it to when I was like 13. I would not give Hush Hush the same rating that I gave it when I was 13. I absolutely loved rereading it though. Some of those scenes are burned into my memory, and I think they will be until the day that I die, including the biology class scene. You know the one. And the end in the gym. Like, I knew what was coming. I didn't remember exactly how it tied up after that, but I remember that scene and I will until I die. I'm really afraid to ruin my nostalgia for things. Like, I won't want to watch a show that I was obsessed with as a kid, or a movie or a book or whatever that I kind of hold on a pedestal in my brain as this like perfect thing or perfect moment, because I don't want to experience it and have it like be a letdown. But I really loved like reliving all of these scenes and like kicking my little feet and giggling at the same moments that I knew killed me when I was a kid, while also recognizing that I wouldn't have maybe rated this 5 stars if I picked it up now for the first time. So if you're like, I don't want to check that out, it might ruin it for me, give it a try. Give it a try, because you can have like both experiences at once. You can be like, you know, maybe this isn't what I remembered it to be exactly, but I remember this and it made me so happy, and it's still really fun. Now on to the next boy with wings, I suppose. Shall we? Dare we? Hi. Okay. I am coming to you post gym, so be kind, but I have bad news. I think I might DNF. I don't know what it's called still. Hold on. The Ashes and the Star-Cursed King. I'm 20% in, and it's not gripping me in the way that the first book did. I don't think it's bad. There's nothing wrong with it. I think I've learned something about my own taste preferences recently, and it's that I cannot stand it personally when characters are like back and forth, as in I want them to either be yearning for each other but not together, or together. And the story doesn't really click with me if they're together and then they're not together anymore and then they're together again. Because it's just like, it's just too much back and forth for me. I understand if the characters are like physically separated and need to find each other again, like that makes sense. That makes sense. There's no love lost there. But I hate a third act breakup, and that's kind of what this duology is giving. And I just think that as I learn to grow and respect my new tastes as this reader that I am becoming in this new age of my life, I need to learn to put a book down when it's just not working for me, even if I know that it's a good book. And that's what's happening today, which means something big. It's time to read ACOTAR for the first time. Welcome to the Boys with Wings weekend extravaganza. You heard it here first, folks. It's time to begin an ACOTAR adventure. It's officially the weekend. I have almost nothing going on this weekend, which means that we are dedicating the entirety of my time to completely finishing the first book in the ACOTAR series. I actually don't know what the series is called as a whole. Before we get into the book, let me start off by saying, as this is like one of the most popular fantasy series, there have been a lot of things that I've heard about the series. First of all, I have been spoiled for the second book. Like, I know that things switch up and that a lot of people are like, you kind of just have to deal with the first book a little bit and then get into the second book. I don't know if this series is gonna be for me because I've tried to read it before like several times and I've never really made it past like the very beginning. So I will check back in with you when I kind of get into new content territory. We'll see what happens. Okay, started the audiobook, fell asleep. Caught up to where I was the last time I tried to read it, and I don't really know what happens after this. Then I got Dunkin' Donuts, and I think I'm gonna switch over to the Kindle version of the book because listening to the new content, like, I'm not really doing anything right now, so I keep getting distracted by my phone from the audiobook, and I don't really know what's happening. So I gotta focus up, I gotta lock in. Good morning. It's time for day 2 of the ACOTAR binge fest. I don't remember what I called it yesterday. Doesn't matter. I'm getting into it. It was hard to put it down last night. I wanted to stay up and keep reading, but I couldn't. I've been spoiled for a good amount of this series because of all of the talk about it. So I know a lot that happens, and I know how a lot of people feel about Tamlin. And I get it if you were fooled. I feel bad. No, he doesn't have anyone to take care of him. I feel bad. And I know that I'm supposed to, so obviously it's working. All right, we are finishing this book today. Let's get to it. I am coming to you from my desk because it's getting kind of late and I don't want to turn any lights on, but I am 60% of the way through the book now, and I don't have too much to say really as an update so far, but I wanted to give you an update at least before I finish because I'm sad. This book is really sad. Like, this book is really just about two sad, desperately lonely people that need somebody to care for them. It's a little bit hard to read sometimes because it's so sad. Also, minor spoiler, at this point I have met Rhysand, and it is truly comical to me how obvious it is from the first line of his introduction how much the author prefers him over every other character. Like, Rhysand is very clearly the favorite here, and there isn't even a secret. Everybody knows it. But I'm still determined to finish this book tonight, so we continue. Wish me luck, and apologies in advance for any delirious late night shenanigans. I don't know what future me is gonna look like. It's like 4 a.m.
I finished. I finished. I wrote, I'm just gonna read my final thoughts to you because I am no longer functioning. So I'm just gonna read this. Stick with me here. I think it falls a little bit short on the micro level for me. Like the writing style is just really straightforward. And also there are a lot of M dashes, you know, like the TikToks were really right with that one. On the macro side of things, the story itself is pretty cool. And I do think that it pulls out like some of the strongest details that the story has really, really well, like the deep loneliness and exhaustive responsibility that ends up pulling the two main characters together. Oh my god, I'm gonna cry. It worked for me. That worked for me. I had a lot of empathy for like all of the characters because the way that the story is set up, like you're almost forced to love almost everybody. And the action scenes, really well done. I was gripped. But I will say that I thought that the last 25% of this book was so astronomically better than the first 75% of the book that it's like almost hard to mentally reconcile the fact that those were all the same book. So overall, even though some of the plot points are a little questionable and it maybe didn't need to be that long, and Feyre maybe didn't need to spend so many nights being drugged like that, I do still understand how people can get so sucked in by this story, especially with that like explosive conclusion and just want more of this world. I mean, I did cry on and off throughout the last 25% of the book. Like, I get it. Oh my, it was so dark. So for me, it's like, I would say somewhere between a 3 and a 4 star reading experience. You know, I had fun. It was a good time. But also, I don't think I'm gonna be selling my soul to Rhysand for 12 weeks out of every year. His Riz is crazy though. Like, his Riz, I get it, ladies, I get it. And now I'm going to sleep. Good night, all. I love you so much, and I will see you soon. Sleep tight. Bye.